Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jessa Brigodelda. Tonight, I'm going to word my verse 29. And last night, I achieved the chord, but I've changed my mind today and changed it to a different chord. I'll take you to the process on how I word my poetry. I achieve the chord and achieve the bass, annotate it last, and then rehearse before a final video. But before that, I would like to say my acknowledgements. I would like to acknowledge, thank, and honor you, all the YouTube team members, for their kind support, for the future completion of White Jasmine, the book of poetry I'm writing at the moment. And secondly, I would like to acknowledge and honor the Australian government for the privilege that they have given me, which I chose it to be a musical lifestyle. And then thirdly, I'd like to honor and acknowledge the British government for the lawful owners of the English language, which I'm using to word my poetry. And then lastly but not least, I would like to honor and acknowledge the British royal family for the culture and the art of making poetry and presenting it to the public. I have achieved verse 29, chord of verse 29, which is E10 and C5. So it sounds like this, guys. So I must have that in mind before. I also notice, guys, that I'm going to choose my wordings now, so I can achieve productivity in writing my poetry. I'm going to choose my wordings now because I noticed that I find it difficult to sing longer words with a lot of vowels. So I'm going to maybe have like a more for verse 29, more direct to the point. And the base to my poetry is loyalty. And this verse is all about my parents choosing to get married at a very early age of both of them. So my mom was 14, and then my dad was 16. So yeah, and then so what incorporates loyalty is responsibility, care, bravery, and persistence. Sorry guys, but when I try to achieve my base, it's actually I find it really, really difficult. Achieving base, guys, is the subcategories of the main base must be the ones that we write about, having my main topic as my parents, and having my advocation of the poetry and English poetry called Beowulf. So my main base all derived from Beowulf, and then I subcategorized it accordingly to my main topic, to my main integrative topic of my parents. And So I am going to word my poetry now, and I'm going to talk about responsibility first, care next, bravery next, and persistence next. Excuse me, guys. And then and also, guys, to be poetic, I find within myself is that I go into this state of like really I have to be I don't know, like almost holding my breath kind of thing. I take it emotionally when I write poetry. I write with emotions when I write poetry. So, like for example, responsibility. I would say something like, so I'm going to integrate responsibility and care. So for like maybe 4 lines, four lines. So I could say something like, your sufferings made me see in darkness. So I would write that down. Your sufferings made me see in darkness. And then that incorporates responsibility and also care. So then I must say something like, I must say more about care. I'm gonna say, cause I could say something like, cause my love for you, so I'm sort of like saying this, guys, in the perspective of my father, in the perspective of or I could say our sufferings, or I could say that instead. So by saying our, I can actually incorporate team building. You know what I mean? Because my parents all were brought up in poverty. So like they probably thought that instead of being individual, they can be together and work together as a team. So like I feel that that's why they got married so early, so they can be in a team, working together, raising children. So I could say our sufferings made me see in darkness. And then I'm going to say about love now, to incorporate care to it. So I'm going to say something like, cause our love does not mean simplicity. Because our love does not mean simplicity. Means simplicity. It incorporates, or I could say, empowered, where true. So empowered where empowers. So I'm going to say that their love for each other empowers them to be together. So I'm going to say, because our love does not mean simplicity, but achieve, or I could say, it emphasizes, or it projects happiness, or projection of happiness can be seen, or I could say, so our sufferings made me see in darkness. Because our love does not mean simplicity. It emphasizes transparency. It emphasizes transparency. So now I'm going to do bravery now. Where it can be seen, where it can be seen, where it can be seen, where it is seen mature, where it is seen mature by others, where it is seen mature by others. All I know, I love you. All I know, I love you. All I know, I love you. Hoping you feel the same way. Hoping you feel the same way. Persuasion I've done to have you. Persuasion I've done to have you. I have done. I'm gonna use a really emotional words, guys. I'm gonna say to own you. Only to find out you feel the same way. Only to find out. Only to find out you feel the same way. The same way. Only to find out you feel the same way when you give your love to. So this is when they got married, guys. And then that's persistence in a way that my father married my dad, my mom. So there is persistence all the way through. So I'm going to read it out loud, guys. So verse 29 is so verse 29 words is like this: our sufferings made me see in darkness, 'cause our love does not mean simplicity. It emphasizes transparency where it is seen mature by others. All I know, I love you. Hoping you feel the same way. Persuasion I have done to own you, only to find out you feel the same way when you give your love to me. This is verse 29, guys, of the book of poetry I'm writing at the moment called White Jasmine. So now I'm going to see my... So I'm going to notate it now, guys. I'm going to notate it now. So the annotation of each word, guys, is I use green pen. And I situate it like as a hat for each word. I don't actually create the scale. It's like each word would have an allocation of notation, because I like to sing in my past video I mentioned about I like it to for each word to be notated, even though I make a lot of mistakes, guys, for the final video, for my presentation, but I try my best. I try my best to achieve my notations. So the way I notate, guys, is I have a metaphor of a tree. So I would now designate the root notation, root words, branch words, and leaf words. My leaf words, guys, are the ones on the end. So what I tend to do is I tend to, every second line I would have a leaf word every second line. So it's like, so I won't be sort of like ending each line. I have like a gap that I connect one line to the next, and then I would have a leaf note on the second line. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines, and I'm going to go now and find the root words. Now the root words, guys, are the ones that I'm going to elongate, not necessarily belt, because I don't know how to belt. So what I tend to do is my root words I tend to elongate. For example, on line 1, I want to elongate sufferings. So that's gonna be my root word for, and then darkness. Even though darkness is at the end of the line, I'm going to have that one as like a connector to the next line. So then I'm going to have me as a root, the word me. I'm going to have that one as a root word for the first line, and then I'm going to have our and made, see, and in as my branch notes. And then I would go on to do it all the way to line 10. But I'm going to take you through how I notate. So I have designated root words. Now I'm going to designate root notations now. So what I do, guys, is I'm going to say what before in my past video, what I used to do is list them. Now I have sort of like I usually list root notations, branch notations, and leaf notations. Now what I do is I tend to choose notations now from my ukulele, and then what I do is I put it beside. So I would say something like, what would be the nicest note to elongate for the word sufferings? And I like A4, guys, so I'm going to write A4 on that one. And then on the word me for another root word for first line, I would have like maybe like a G2, because the kind of effect I like on this one, guys, is to have a cry manner. The cry that I want in it. It won't be a sighful cry, it won't be a mix or a sigh, it would be a cry. So I'm going to incorporate A and G, strings of A and G into the first line, because that's my introductory line. And then for the word darkness, I'm going to have this one as like I don't know, like an E3, because E3 is darker than E2. So strings of E fret 3. So I'm going to have E3 in this one. Or E7, guys, would be really nice too. But it would sound really nice in E3. And then I would now notate our made and then C in. So I would say our, like a really nice beginning could be A1. And then sufferings made me. I'm gonna sing it like I'm gonna have it C fret 3, and then C fret 3, and then C. I'm gonna have it in G fret 1, and then in I'm gonna have G0, G fret 0, and then I'm going to sing it. I'm going to sing it with my chord, and then during my rehearsal, I would double check. I would double check each word's notation. So I'm like that's how. So A1 is our. String of A and string of G, they're slightly different kind of fineness. So I tend to also formulate my vocal cord to how the string sounds. So for example, so that's how I achieve. That's how I achieve notations on my poetry, guys, and sing. And so first, I would achieve the chord. Secondly, I would achieve the bass accordingly to my advocation of Beowulf, and then I subcategorized it to my main topic, and then through the subcategory I am able to narrow it down towards the words of my verses, and then notation is through the metaphor of a tree having a roots words, branch words, and leaf words. And then I would go on to then notate root words, and then branch, and then leaf words, and then I would sing for double checking. I would sing each with a notation. I would sing each word. I would sing each words with its designated notation. And then, and that's how I do it, guys. Excuse me. And that's how the flow of my rehearsal goes. Because my passion is writing poetry and singing it, and I hope I have also this is kind of helpful, because I like sharing my passion, guys. I hope you like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.